Can a sit-stand desk actually improve your overall workflow and maybe even your lifestyle in general? Well, today I finally upgraded, so I guess we're gonna find out. If you're new here, my name is Will. I run a photo and video production company here in Ontario, and I also make a lot of videos like this for the internet. So needless to say, I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk. Desky recently reached out to me and said they wanted to upgrade my current setup with one of their premium hardwood dual motor sit-stand desks. So today I want to show you my new desk and also talk to you about how I've kind of set up my desk to be a little more productive and how a standing desk can kind of play a part in that. And also just talk about kind of my thoughts on this desk because it's pretty cool. First, let's look at what I'm upgrading from. Right now with my desk setup, I have dual monitors, which is important. I need my dual monitors. I have my giant PC tower here, which is looking very 2015 gamery with my sticker collection on there. I've got 2 hard drives on the desk, and then I also have some accessories underneath the desk. I do my best to try and cable manage things. I've got my power bar mounted here and everything is plugged into that. And then I also have my audio interface over here, and I got some other stuff over here too. I also have these things that are called J channels, and they help hold and hide a lot of the cables, and I can use them to route cables along here. But we have an alternative with this new desk. I might not need to use them. So let's get all this stuff off of here. Let's get this desk out, and then we can start building the new standing desk from Desky. All of these are functional elements that I want to keep in my new desk setup too. Now I just need to unplug everything and remove it from my old desk, then put together the new one. This is easier said than done because I had some stuff pretty wedged in there. Little note, if you're going to use some double-sided adhesive sticky stuff, you don't need to go overboard with it. Just a little bit will do the trick. That is all of the mess of stuff that it takes to have my desk set up and running. One of the things I was really excited for about this Desky desk. One of the things I was really excited about with this desk was not actually just the sit stand feature, but the actual real hardwood table. My old desk was particle board and it was cheap, but man, it was just terrible. It was all scraped up. I even had 2 holes in the top of it from dropping just one of those little light panels, just fell on the desk a couple times and just put a hole right through the desk. That's all it took. So not only does this real wood look really nice, all of Desky's wood is sustainably sourced as well, which is nice to know, but it just looks fantastic and I can tell it's gonna be so much more durable, but more on that later. Basically, ever since I got this secondary table in my office, it's made out of reclaimed wood. Ever since I got that table set up to do product shots and thumbnails and just kind of as like a little work table, I've really noticed the difference between the quality of good real wood and particle board. And honestly, I don't think I can go back now. The sit stand feature in a desk like this is not something I was sure about at first. I've actually wanted one for a while, but I just wasn't sure it would be worth it for me because I thought, I don't think I'm actually gonna use the sit stand feature that much. I'm just gonna be sitting at it all the time. But now at the ripe old age of 24, I'm starting to notice some beginnings of problems that are stemming from sitting down at my desk hunched over, looking at my screen for 12 hours a day. I've been getting a sore neck and shoulders from long editing sessions, and while that's not the biggest deal right now, doing that every single day for the next 20, 30, 40 years of my career, I think that's gonna start to add up. I'm hoping that standing for a few hours a day will both be better for that and also hopefully for my heart health a little bit, my blood circulation, I don't know. And if you're in the creative field like me, especially if you work for yourself, I'd urge you to think about this a little more too if you aren't already. I've really started to think about my health in terms of the long term and like what is going to happen if I sit at a desk every single day for the next 40 years. And if you're in the creative field, especially if you're self-employed, this is something I would urge you to think about more as well, if you're not already. Not even just with the sit stand desk, but just with broader lifestyle choices in general. Because as freelancers or self-employed people or entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call it, we don't get sick days. We don't get days off for injury. If you are sick or you are injured, you either push through it or you don't make any money. You are not going to be able to make as much money down the line if you can't do as many jobs because you have a bad back or you have carpal tunnel or you are just sick all the time. I don't know. With that grim image out of the way, let's talk about the positives and look at some of the cool things you get when you have a high quality standing desk. The desk I picked up is a 30 by 72 I'm just gonna say salmon. That feels wrong, but that's 30 by 72 inch salmon wood top, which is a foot wider than my old desk, which is nice. It's using the Desky dual motor system, which is really quick and really quiet. Just to test this out, I decided to sit on my desk and I went all the way up and all the way down, and no problems, no stuttering in the motors. It handled it perfectly fine. And that was with all my other stuff already set up on my desk too. Although just to be safe, I wouldn't recommend you try this, but I have a lot of friends that have standing desks and they opted for some cheaper options. And the one thing that they tend to complain about a lot with their standing desk is it's really noisy when it goes up and down, or it's really slow. This thing goes up and down so fast that I just press the button, wait a few seconds, and I'm in my standing mode. I'm happy to say this feels very premium. The desk was also relatively quick to assemble. Believe it or not, I thought this was going to take much longer than it actually did. Disassembling my old setup and removing all of the cables and everything, that was a different story. But building this desk just on its own was not a problem. One thing I really noticed was how simple and clear the instructions were. It made the whole thing really easy, especially with the tabletop and the legs together. There's pre-drilled holes in the tabletop for these legs specifically. So you can set everything up and it's pretty much all like Allen wrench type stuff. The only holes I actually had to drill into the wood were for the optional desk on the side, but that was super easy. Even with zero furniture building experience, you could definitely still put this together, no problem. Now let's talk about one of my favorite things about a nice desk setup is the cable management. I'm not being ironic here. I actually I like a good cable management setup. Desky has a really unique solution to this. I've always been a fan in a regular desk setup of mounting the power bar underneath the desk so that you can hide the cables a little bit better, and running J channels and little tricks to hide the cables so that you can have a clean setup. Well, Desky takes that to the next level because they have an integrated cable management channel with power plugs built into it. I love this so much because not only do I have all of my cables neatly hidden in this channel that can easily come down and I can access the cables, but everything plugs right into it as well, including the power for the standing desk, which means with everything plugged into my desk, and just a reminder, that's my PC power, power for 2 monitors, power for 2 hard drives, power for my Ethernet switch, power for the standing desk, power for an iPhone charging cable, power for the LED strip behind the desk, and power for my Alexa. All of that is being run in this setup right now, and yet there are no cables underneath this desk except for the single power cable that comes down and plugs into the wall, which is also especially nice because with a standing desk, you need that room for the desk to be able to go up and down, and the cables have to be able to stretch with that. The more cables that you have on the floor that don't move with the desk, the more you have to make sure each cable is long enough so that you have enough room to go into a standing mode. That being said, I do actually have one other cable that is unavoidably coming up from the ground, and that is my Ethernet cable. It is running up the other side into my switch. I couldn't hide that one, unfortunately, but still, very clean overall setup. But back to the cable channel for a second, because you can fit so many cables in here and you can just throw them all in. And I love that it has these little spring-loaded screws. I can just pull them apart, drop the cables down, which I did probably 5 or 6 times as I was kind of putting everything in and seeing how it looked. Plus, because this comes down on the desk a little bit, you also have a little bit more room behind that cable channel to mount more cables to the bottom side of the desk if you want to do that as well. I've never seen anything quite exactly like this on any other desk. This is the cleanest my desk setup has ever looked, and it wasn't even that hard. I know I kind of just sound like a salesperson for Desky right now, but I promise you that is actually just how it went. As a part of this package, Desky also sent over their dual monitor arm, which, again, sticking with the clean cable management, has cable management tracks built into the monitor arms, which means you can keep the cables nice and organized and also hidden. So you get a nice clean view underneath the monitors. This is something I've been wanting to have with my setup for a while now, and I just haven't gotten around to it because having the regular monitor stands on the desk takes up a ton of space. I don't know if you fully realize it, but especially if you have 2 monitors, the bases of those monitors are taking up a lot of real estate, especially on smaller desks. So on top of this desk being a foot wider than my old one, I also have all this extra room now underneath my monitor to put stuff and move stuff around. The only real concern I had with getting a standing desk was the stability of it, because I was worried that in a standing mode, it was going to be a little bit wobbly. For context, I have this kind of thick shag style carpet in my office, although I actually do like it quite a bit. It being so thick, it definitely raises furniture off of the hardwood a little bit, and that makes it so that every piece of furniture is just a little bit less stable than if it was on solid wood. So naturally, with something that's going up and down, I was a little bit worried with how the stability would be. But needless to say, I can sit on this desk without any problems. If anything, because of the weight of the motors and the metal legs and the solid wood top, it's actually heavier and therefore I think quite a bit more stable than my old desk. The actual sit stand functionality of this desk is really smooth, and you can set 4 preset options on the little control pad over here so that you can have the heights that you like. But you also get this nice little screen that tells you exactly how tall the desk currently is set at. You can actually connect this with your phone and manage it from there, which is a nice little touch. I don't know if that's something I'll really use, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to have. A really underrated aspect of a sit stand desk is the ability to move the desk up and down depending on what you need to access on the desk. And what I mean by this is specifically with setting things up. Being able to move the desk all the way down to the lowest setting so that I could reach over the monitor and grab a cable, and then bring the desk all the way up to the highest setting so that I can go underneath and route that cable around without like hitting my head on the desk, was a really nice thing to be able to do. And I can do that anytime I'm changing or adding things to the setup. Although Desky is not paying me to make this video, they did send me this desk for free. So you can take my opinion with a grain of salt if you want to, but overall, my honest opinion of this desk is that it's extremely high quality. The actual desktop material is fantastic. The usability of the desk is really good, and everything about it just honestly has a very premium feel. And I'm hoping that having this desk now and having the ability so easily to go from sitting to standing will hopefully make it so that I spend a little more time at my desk standing and a little less sitting. And who knows, that might actually even make me more productive. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, maybe subscribe if you want to see more cool stuff, but that's all I got for you in this one. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.